My name's Phil Moore. My wife is Donna. We came down Flum some months ago, driving back from a workout that we were engaged in. And she noticed in particular this place as we drove by. And she said, "That's really an attractive retirement center." We had no idea what it was. No one had recommended anything or said anything to us about it. She said, "That really looks nice." And I glanced over and I said, "Yeah, that does." And that we should come by and look at it in more depth sometime. I said, "That sounds great." So sometime later, some weeks later probably, we decided to make the trip over here. And again, we're impressed by not only the locale, it kind of had a woodsy feel around this neighborhood, but also the architecture of this place. Looked new, it looked tidy, clean, and not massive. She started the conversation. I was a bit incredulous at that point that we would even be talking about it. But again, knowing that my tendency is not to look too far down the road and hers is, I've been very grateful that she's had that capacity to do that. And so she kind of moved us in this direction. We don't have a timeline set. We're both in good health and enjoying our home. But at some point we know that we don't want to be left in the lurch, needing to make a move and then not having any research done in advance or exploring any options. So that's why we're doing this now. This was the really improbable thing. We set up an appointment after the initial tour, which was great, but we didn't have an opportunity then, becoming unannounced, to look at inside anyone's room. She said there's a couple that has graciously allowed visitors to look at their apartment. So let's set up a time when we can do that. And so we did. A couple weeks later, she said they're good to go, so come on out. And we came to look around their apartment. Of course, it was just wonderful. They had it decorated very nicely. And we got to talking. And she mentioned, the lady that was showing us her apartment, something about her church. The youth or somebody came over, and there's plenty of room for them to come over and hang out. And I asked her what church, and she said it was the Nazarene Church. And I said, "Oh, it's the one right down 87th or whatever." That's the one. And then that precipitated a longer conversation that developed into kind of a jaw-dropping coincidence. These folks not only knew very well some other friends that we know very well, but their lives connected with both of our lives, both here in Kansas City and in Oklahoma City. And this goes back 75 years. And it was just one improbable coincidence after another as we stood there and talked. She knew my father, my mother, she knew my wife's parents, she knew friends that we had in Oklahoma City, she knew people that we knew in Kansas City. So the probability of us running into somebody like that in a metropolis of over 1 million people was literally 1 in 1,000,000. And we walked into these people's room here at Westchester, and we just couldn't believe the coincidence that was unfolding before our eyes. And then on a subsequent visit, we were just there for a few minutes to show her some pictures of my father's choir that he directed, that she sang in. And a gentleman came into the room that was their son-in-law, who I knew. And so, as a matter of fact, we're having lunch with them tomorrow. Again, people from the distant past, but all this happened coincidentally and in a very, very improbable way. And so we're standing there wondering, what does all this mean? Does this mean anything? And Norma Jean, the friend that we ran into, said, "It just means that you're supposed to be here someday."